嘿，大家好，今天呢陪我的客人来验房，这是一套独立屋，验房师呢也是我的客人请来的。如果你想了解验房的流程，那么听听他的介绍，我觉得非常受益。
We're just getting started here in a nice property out in Edmonton here, and I usually tell clients that I hope I can exceed their expectations. But if you don't have a good understanding or a clear understanding of what I'm actually going to be doing for you regarding the standard that I'm following, the types of investigative techniques that I'm using, there's a chance that I may not be able to exceed your expectations, and that's really what I'm shooting for. So most inspectors and companies, when they do a home inspection, they're going to follow some sort of a standard or a guideline when they assess the individual systems of the home. So at Inspection Proof, we follow the CAPI standard. That's the Canadian Association of Home and Property Inspectors. In my opinion, that's the most thorough standard out there, and that's the standard that I've followed since day one, and I think it's the most thorough one, so that's why we continue to use it. At a high level, what that standard says is the inspector is going to describe the systems of the home, document condition items, systems or materials that may be at or near the end of the life expectancy, and then talk about the limitations that I'm faced with doing the inspection. So description things are going to be straightforward things like sloped roof, asphalt shingle, as compared to flat roof, tar and gravel, concrete foundation as compared to wood, brick or mortar, cinder block, copper wiring as compared to aluminum. The importance of describing the systems, if we do that correctly, then we're in a good position to determine if we've got a system that's at or near the end of the life expectancy. And then the other important thing about describing the systems is that if we go back into different eras of homes, there have been problematic systems and materials. So a lot of people are familiar with aluminum wiring that was in homes from 63 to 79, or actually anything that was standing at that time, because they could have done renovations, used aluminum wiring. Nowadays, one of the, I guess, common things that we deal with, and your insurance company will probably ask about this, but poly-B water supply lines. Those were a problematic water supply line that was installed in homes in the 90s, and it's become a real insurance issue. So aluminum wiring, poly-B water supply lines, things like that, we'd want to make you aware of that, because they're probably going to come up, and then we wouldn't want you to be surprised about it. And then there are fixes for all that kind of stuff, but again, we'd want to have you knowing that you've got a good idea as to what you're looking at moving forward. Next part of that CAPI standard is condition items, missing loose torn shingles, visible foundation cracks, poor grading, loose electrical outlets, settling concrete driveways. And I usually tell clients when I go through the property, I'm typically not going to be moving couches, fridges around. I try and work around that stuff. If there was something that I was concerned about, I would raise that awareness, and then we'd usually get some sort of an approval to move something, etc. But that's an important part of what I'm doing in there, is going through the property thoroughly. And I usually tell clients I'm going to make an effort to test the function of all the windows, doors, electrical outlets. I'm going to be running water through all the sinks and bathtubs, going to be flushing the toilets, using the moisture meter around the base of the toilet. And I just break it down into small bits and pieces as I'm going through that tight process. But I will comment on simple things like doors that are binding, loose faucet controls, missing caulking that's in bathrooms. Really what the idea here is today is to get a handle on the big stuff, because typically bigger system repair replacement, there's going to be bigger dollar values associated with that. The next part of that CAPI standard, systems or materials at or near the end of the life expectancy. So just like repairs, system replacement, there's going to be dollar values associated with that. So for the roof that's on the property, AC units, furnaces, hot water tanks, with that CAPI standard, we're going to attach a probability of failure to it. Nowadays, 8 to 12 years is typical life expectancy of a hot water tank. So if we have a hot water tank that's past that upper limit or pushing that upper limit, even though it's operable, putting out lots of hot water, and I run lots of hot water and inspect the tank, if it's not corroded, not visibly leaking, it's still going to show on the report as high probability of failure. And then I usually tell the client, hope for the best, expect the worst. Usually the life expectancies are close, as much as there are exceptions, but then that's good information for you moving forward. Okay. Last part of that CAPI standard, limitations. So you've got a wood roof on here. Typically you're not going to get on that roof and walk on it, because you could probably or possibly damage it. Snow cover we deal with in the winter time, that type of thing. Sometimes when you're going through some homes, there's a lot of contents in there and it's hard to get at everything you want. And then again, if there was something that was in the way of us getting you the information that you need, we'd raise the awareness and then we'd try and get a different game plan. So that's that CAPI standard. Now when I do the inspection, I start right out front, the same spot every time, stick to a tight process, and I take pictures of everything that I think is worth talking about. And those pictures are going to go in the description section of your report, or the condition or near end of life expectancy. I see something, settling concrete, I'd take a picture of it, that's going to go in the report, and then we'd always make recommendations, repair, replace. Sometimes when we're seeking more information, we'd say request disclosure. So that's basically the reporting end of it and the process that I follow. The reports are very detailed. We use Carson Dunlop Discover Horizon software, and I believe there's over 1,700 different diagrams that come into play when we're building the report or writing the report with that software. So I think that's a real advantage. And then there's lots of interactive links in the electronic report that you can click on, and it'll take you to a database of further information, just as a good resource for the homeowner to have. The other thing that Inspection Proof specializes in is we do thermal imaging. So when I go into the property, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to map out where we've got any upper level bathroom locations, laundry areas. I'm going to drop back down a level, do a base scan with a thermal camera before I start systematically running hot water, cold water. The evaporation of water is a cooling effect. So if we had water pooling on a finished ceiling, we may not see anything visibly with our eye, but with the thermal camera, we'd probably see an anomaly. And then we'd investigate further. And then regarding concealed plumbing leaks, active water infiltration, possibly in a basement, we'd always try and confirm everything with a moisture meter.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So yeah.